when I moved the last time, we went from Waterberry, about 10,000 square feet, to the now new location in Naugatuck, 36,000 square feet. And it was a sigh of relief to get into space much larger where we can actually use a forklift to move lumber and everything else. But there were also some things I didn't anticipate.
Such as?
Well, I figured I'd just move into a bigger space. It's nice. It's a manufacturing space. And I didn't account for the building department. The building department came along and said, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. And all of a sudden, I'm stuck with a big building and that I can't use for anything.
And for the listeners, the viewers that have seen this before, we spent a couple of weeks talking about permits and certificate of occupancy. And here we have the principle of a manufacturing building. This is a case study. Go ahead, Nick.
So at first, I have a negative reaction. How am I going to do all of this? I got to run a business. I got to teach my guys different things that they're doing. I got to set everything up. And I put it this way, I felt overwhelmed. So what do I do? I call Bob.
Alka-Seltzer or Xanax?
Yeah, neither. I got Bob.
Call Bob.
So I gave him a call and I said, Bob, can you help me? Because I knew he knows his way around the building department, and even though I'm in construction, I don't have the time and I'm not exposed to it. So for me to do it myself, it would have taken forever. Contacting architects, engineers, all sorts of things. So I got a hold of Bob, and he's gave me a rundown of what he could do, and we agreed on terms, and he came on and helped me through the process.
And how hard was it to agree on terms? That's another process when you're meeting with somebody like Bob the builder, because you want to were you concerned about what it was going to cost and how long it would take? What were your concerns when you were working with Bob to figure it out?
Cost is always a major concern, no matter what. In any project, cost is always a major thing. I had faith in Bob. I've worked with him before, and he's always come through for me. So I had no reason to doubt his ability.
You know how hard he's worked for so many years, and you know what getting into that place and getting set up and operating the way he needs to means to him, his family, his business, and everything. So
you're the consultant. Who cares?
Well, yeah, you want to try, and time is an issue. He can't start doing business until you can get that fabled certificate of occupancy. So you come in and you start the process of meeting with town of Naugatuck to get straight building department, mechanical inspector, fire marshals. What are they looking for?
It's a long list.
Long list, yeah.
So, and how complicated because people don't know how complicated was, because I've been in there and you've all these stations everywhere and wires and all kinds of vacuum tubes, all kinds of, how complicated was it, Bob? And what was like you to figure out how you would get him up and running? And how many employees?
Right now we're 26.
Wow.
26 in the shop.
Yeah, I had to bring an engineer in to get, and that's part of it, is that what people sometimes don't understand is that there's different ways to accomplish something. And sometimes most architects, engineers, whatever, good people, but they're going to do what they know, and that's not always the most cost-effective way that accomplishes the same thing. So you're looking at those different ways of getting him where he needs to go that's affordable.
And then you have to deal with the supplier to get all the material on time. And were there delays?
Well, we managed to find everything that was fairly accessible. So there was a little bit of time involved in whatnot. But beyond all those things, you're dealing with sprinklers, sprinkler designs, how they had to be redone and relocated within that workstation area.
So would that be mechanical engineering on that point?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so much to this. It's mind-blowing. And now, Nick, that Bob the Builder got you all up and running, have you had to retweak? How's it all going? And give him a mark.
No, it's doing good. Everything is functioning the way it was intended.
Yeah.
The heaters are located in the right place. We had one of the biggest problems was we had radiant heat, and in a dust environment, they don't, they don't
match correctly?
particularly care for it. The fire marshal doesn't care for that.
Oh.
But like I said before, they don't volunteer any information. So we had to find out that with radiant heat, if you bring fresh air in from the outside, then it's totally acceptable to have it in that environment. But it was inside before, but nobody told us until we had to find that
So
out
what'd you have to do
first.
to
So
fix that, Bob?
Well-
And explain what radiant heat is.
Well, it's like, he's buying the building. It's not necessarily something you're going to think about. You don't know that that's maybe not allowed or allowed.
You wouldn't.
And the fire marshal's initial reaction was that it's not allowed. And so we've got to go back to the manufacturer and get the data that proves it is allowed. And this is what we have to
Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is what we have to do. As Nick said, bring in fresh air. You've got to have a maintenance program for cleaning, just like with his vacuums for his equipment.
Take out the
and
dust.
whatnot. Dust control, stuff like that.
What is
So
radiant heat to the audience
it's
that might
like,
not know?
the best explanation I could give you is if you walk into a Home Depot and you look up, they've got the infrared heaters, up above the.
Okay.
And they're very much like that, basically the same thing. Nick's were long, almost like a long strip. And they had to be relocated within that. And also outside, I think outside of the area, we may have relocated one.
we moved them all outside of that one enclosed area.
Yeah.
Okay, so to my broker friends, industrial brokers that are watching, you might want to call Bob ahead of time if you're going to sell a building or you have a user that wants to take it. You might want to bring Bob in ahead of time to take a look at the job and ask the user who's going to build an inside factory or process. Bob could maybe save you some time ahead of time by looking at it. And most people and most even brokers don't understand about the construction business. So here's a fellow who bought a beautiful 36,000 foot building, and once he got in there, he felt overwhelmed, and luckily he had Bob the builder. But maybe you could do some of this ahead of time in the future. And it's very nice of you guys to say this.